from the beginning. Welcome, everybody, to the Barça News podcast, where we not only we discuss Barcelona news, but we also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section. For those of you who be watching when podcast sends, will be put in types in the description, chat is in the timeline in case you do want to skip through the discussion and get straight into the news. Today, we have a lot of news, including injury update because Barcelona have received not one, not two, but three injury boosts. Also, Lionel Messi visiting the Spotify Camp Nou. I'm going to tell you all the details about that visit and what it means because there's already a million rumors out there. Oh, Messi this, Messi that. We're going to talk about all of it. Don't worry. And finally, Barcelona have contacted the agent of one of the most exciting Ligue on talents, attacking talents. I'm going to tell you who it is. And as always, the first segment of news is comprised of multiple bits of news, but of course, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. Also, if you want to buy anything related to Barcelona, you can head to Goal Kids, Kickback, or Fanatics. If you're all looking to place city sports bets, you can head to Bet Us. All links are in the description. You click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, now that we got the intro out the way, and now that I'm going to have to cut like 3 minutes out of this podcast because my fucking audio wasn't working, let's start with the news because, ladies and gentlemen, the mass exodus out of Barcelona has officially begun. As you know, the FIFA international break has begun, the third FIFA international break. Absolutely ridiculous. We had one in September. We had one in October. Why not throw one in November? Fuck it, let's do one in December and one in January too, because why not? After all, these players are just robots. They're made of metal and they can just play every 2-3 days. Now, because the FIFA international break has begun, of course, most of the players have already left. But that doesn't mean that the work at the Ciudad Esportiva has stopped because those players who are either injured or have not been called up by their national teams have remained behind in order to train. Now, today, Monday, the players who stayed back had to report to the Ciudad Esportiva to do a gym session. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are all going to be gym sessions. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the players have off so they can recover, they can rest. And then next Monday, in 7 days, the official training will continue. What do I mean by official training? Like actually on the pitch. Because remember, this week, Monday through Thursday, only gym workouts. Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Next Monday, they'll be back to regular trainings, training on the pitch, so on and so forth. And the entire squad is not going to be together again until November 20th. Because, of course, we have different matches being played at different times of the week. And depending on that, that's when players start coming back. But the whole squad is not going to be back together until November 20th. So in 10 days, but only 2 days before our match against Athletic Club de Bilbao. Now, who are the players that have left the city of Barcelona to join their teams? We have Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, Pau Cubarsí, Fermín López, and Dani Olmo. All 5 of them have been called up by Spain. Robert Lewandowski has been called up by Poland. Frankie de Jong has been called up by the Netherlands. Marcus Rashford by England. Jules Koundé by France. Ronald Araujo by Uruguay, Andreas Christensen by Denmark, and of course, Rooney Bardghji by Sweden. So these are the 12 players that have left Barcelona to join their national teams. And again, the rest of the players will stay back training because just because the half of your squad is gone doesn't mean you get to slack off and go party with Neymar. Anyways, speaking of the training session, we do have some great news because Barcelona have received not one, not two, but 3 injury boosts. Technically 2, the third one, I'll tell you how it's not necessarily a boost, but it's still good news nonetheless. The first one is Joan Garcia, because yes, Joan Garcia is recovered, is fully recovered. He could have technically played in yesterday's match against Celta Vigo, but of course, Flick said, what's the point in bringing him back one match? And then, FIFA international break. Might as well just have him continue resting for yesterday and the 10 days of FIFA international break. But Joan Garcia is recovered. Yes, he didn't play yesterday. Yes, he wasn't on the squad list. Nonetheless, he is recovered, so he's expected to be on the squad list and hopefully starting on November 22nd against Athletic Club de Bilbao, which is the first match back from the FIFA international break. The second great news, and hold on to your pants for this one, because Coutinho, ladies and gentlemen, is expected to receive his medical clearance on Monday. Remember, this week, Monday through Thursday, gym sessions, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Next Monday, it's expected that Coutinho will get his medical clearance. He'll go back to regular trainings, and then he should be available for the match against Athletic Club de Bilbao on November 22nd. And I have to say, what a relief, because I have missed Coutinho so much. So much. And to think that the first 2 seasons where he was just horrible under Xavi, I used to want to like get rid of this guy. Now I'm like, please, come back, Coutinho. I miss you, Coutinho. Come back. This is so good news. And of course, there's Juan Garcia news too. I'm not trying to undermine that news, because that's also great news, because we've seen the horrible form that Wojciech Szczesny has been in. So incredible news right here. Both Juan Garcia and Coutinho will be available for the match against Athletic Club de Bilbao. And the third good news, this is not an injury boost, because that was never really an injury, but nonetheless, it's still great news. And that is in regards to Marc Casado, because as you know, Marc Casado was supposed to start yesterday alongside Frankie de Jong. During the warm-up, he felt pain, so he was subbed. He wasn't subbed out. He got removed from the lineup. Dani Olmo took his place, and now, of course, there was some worry. Oh, is he injured? And if so, how long is he going to be out? Because remember, Pedri's still injured. Frankie de Jong got a red card. It's like, what are we going to do in the midfield? Well, it turns out that while Marc Casado was warming up, he felt some kind of like some discomfort in his adductor muscles. So in order to be safe, they were like, all right, well, you're not going to play. You're sitting down. And of course, as always, the following days when medical exams are conducted, today, lo and behold, Marc Casado underwent medical exams. It turns out there's no injury. So we're good to go. No injury there. That was just some discomfort, some pain that he felt like a pinch in the adductors. No injury. So Casado should be available for the match against Athletic Club de Bilbao. And that's, of course, great news, because, again, Pedri's injured and Frankie de Jong is going to be suspended since he got those 2 yellow cards in yesterday's match. So great news on all fronts there. Juan Garcia, Rafinha, and Casado should all be available for the Athletic Club de Bilbao match. And with that, let's start with the comment section, and then we are going to talk about Lionel Messi's visit to the Spotify Camp Nou. We're going to talk about all the details, because, of course, by now you already know that he visited. But that's not what I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you the good stuff, the tea. How did that happen? What does it mean? Not just what he posted on his Instagram, because you could have just found that out on your own, right? You could have just opened Instagram, saw that he was there, read his posts. Don't worry. I got more for you. I got all the scoop. I got the tea. Babies, come back. It's been a while since I've seen you in the chat section, my friend. Thank you so much for your donation, and welcome back. Unless you were always there, but you weren't commenting. But either way, it's really good to see you in the chat section. But Baby's Comeback says, what's up, Mo? Sorry, been busy with life. I haven't seen Barca play as much. Is the reason for their losses due to other managers figuring out his style? Well, my friend, it happens. Life gets in the way, unfortunately. But hopefully, whatever you're going through, it gets better, and you can have more free time to watch Barca. Or maybe it is a good thing that you've been missing Barca matches, because lately it's been very stressful to watch them. So maybe it is a good thing. But hopefully whatever's going on can be, solved, I guess. Let's put it that way. Now, why has Barca been losing? Pretty simple. The players have not been playing the way they're supposed to. They have not been executing the system like they're supposed to. And they haven't been doing their job. So when that happens, regardless of what system it is, you're going to get exposed, right? Any system in the world, in any sport in the world that doesn't get executed the correct way is not going to work. Now, this whole about figuring out, I don't really subscribe to that idea, because, people want to pretend like the offside trap or the high line, some crazy thing that Flick invented last season, and coaches were like, oh my God, what is that? I've never seen it. I've never heard of an offside. I don't even know what an offside is. And then now a year later, they're like, now I know what an offside is. Okay. Now I know what a high line is. I've never seen that before either. Now, the offside trap and the high line have been around for years and years and years. It's no secret that Flick used that system. I mean, he won a sextuple with that system 5 years ago. So you're telling me in 5 years, not a single coach decided to think, how can I beat this? No, I don't think there's anything to figure out. It's a pretty common thing, But when you don't execute it correctly, for example, Celta's second goal, Frankie de Jong standing 5 yards behind his defenders. If he was in line, it would have worked perfectly. But it did it because he was 5 yards back. So he puts Ferran Jugla onside. and they're able to score a goal. So it's not that, oh, they figure out the system. The system was not even applied because Frankie wasn't even in line. First goal of Celta, same thing. The trap is set. Balde is 5 yards behind his teammates. Oh, they figure out. No. If Balde had been in where he was supposed to be, that also would have worked. And again, we would have, we wouldn't have conceded. So it's not that people have figured it out. There's nothing to figure out. This is a very old thing. Just a matter of not applying it correctly. And when you don't apply something correctly, well, it just doesn't work. That's just that simple. But thank you, my friend, for your donation and welcome back to the podcast. And now we'll take a look at Shin's comment also with another generous donation. Thank you so much, my friend, for supporting the channel. But Shin says, I'm sure you'll cover it maybe, but the biggest rumor I'm hearing is that Messi will use the Beckham rule to leave Miami to play in Europe to prep for the World Cup because MLS is out for months and the front runner is Barca. Who knows? Yes, I'm gonna talk about it. Don't worry. I got the scoop. I got the tea. So, but thank you, my friend, for your donation. Your kit is going out today. It's already picked. Everything, the order is gonna be placed today. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I recently conducted a Barcelona kit raffle for channel members only, and Shin won, and his kit is going out today. Very exciting news. Cal Hill says, hey, Coulés, hey, Mo, great injury boost use. One-on-one note. I take it that the community saw how the team adjusted the system against Celta, which resulted in more control and a win. I hope we keep it up. I don't think they adjusted the system. They just started doing their job, right? It's not like all of a sudden the system got tweaked or changed or something. They finally started working as a team and started, being organized in the back and in the front. I don't necessarily think that's an adjustment of the system. The system is still the same, but you're actually doing a better job of applying it, right? That's the difference. Let's see. Paul Diaz says, yo, Mo, Lewa, 108 goals surpassed Neymar, 105. I know. It's crazy. In less matches, if I'm not mistaken. And even if I am mistaken, it doesn't matter. Because we're talking about 37-year-old surpassing Neymar in his prime, the best version of Neymar. Imagine beating the best version of Neymar at 37 years old. That's crazy. Not just that. The best version of Neymar came during one of the best periods in Barca, right? He had prime Messi. He had prime Suarez. He had Xavi. He had Iniesta. He had Busquets. I mean, not only was that the best version of Neymar, but he was surrounded by some of the greatest players in the history of football. Fast forward all these years, we got a 37-year-old Lewy who doesn't have Messi or Suarez or Xavi or Iniesta. And yet, despite being 37 and despite not having the teammates that Neymar did, Lewandowski surpasses him. The old man, the grandpa, we need to sell him because he's finished, right? That's how fickle Barcelona fans are. That is how fickle Barcelona fans are. And you know who you are. Because you know when you wrote time and time again on my videos and my chat, he's finished, sell him. Well, I hope you remember your own words. Kenneth says, Mo, after the international break, Barca has most of his important players, Vizca Barça, my friend. And yes, after this break, we should have most of our squad back. We'll see if Pedri will be back. Hopefully he will. But, to have Joan Garcia, to have Rafinha back, I mean, that alone is a big, big boost. And it's definitely going to help. All right, let's get back to the news because, of course, we have to talk about the big, big bombshell news. You already know about it by now, but that's not what I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you everything else, how it happened, what it means. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, is, of course, Lionel Messi's visit to the Spotify Camp Nou, because today we all woke up to the craziest of news. Out of nowhere, Lionel Messi had posted on his Instagram and on his Twitter account these pictures. There was actually 3 pictures in a video. These are 2 of them. But it was first, there was him outside of the Camp Nou construction site. And then another that he had two pictures inside the Camp Nou. There's this one that you'll see on your screen where he's looking away. There's another one where he's looking towards the camera. And there's also a video of him kind of like just standing outside the Camp Nou, just admiring the project. And alongside those pictures, he had posted or written the following caption. Last night, I returned to a place I miss with all my heart, a place where I was immensely happy, where you all made me feel 1,000 times over like the happiest person in the world. I hope that one day I can return, and not just to say goodbye as a player, as I never got to do. So the whole world was shocked when we all woke up to this post of Messi at the Camp Nou and with these statements. And of course, two big things that jump out of these statements. The first thing is a little bit of a dig at John Laporta and his board. And it says, because he says, and not just to say goodbye as a player, as I never got to do. As I never got to do. I think that was a little bit of a dig at Laporta and his board because, of course, till this day, Messi and his family continue to blame John Laporta for what happened. I honestly think it's unfair of Messi to do that. I don't think John Laporta was at fault here. Yes, Laporta wanted to renew Messi. Yes, he told us he was going to renew Messi. Yes, he told Messi he was going to renew him. But at the end of the day, he didn't. Not because he didn't want to. Not because Laporta's some asshole. It's because he couldn't, right? When John Laporta became president of Barcelona, he knew, and we all knew, that the club was in bad financial situation, but nobody, including him and his board, knew how bad it was. So when he first took over the club, he knew it was bad, but he thought we still would have enough to be able to renew Messi. And that's why he told Messi we're going to renew you. That's why he told us he was going to renew him. He too believed that he could renew him. But then we hired the auditing company, the accounting firm, and went through all of Barcelona's finances. That took months, by the way. That didn't happen overnight. And when the auditing report came out, surprise, surprise, it turned out we were in much, 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 much worse situation than we were. And at that point, he was like, shit, I thought I could renew Messi. I can't. So I don't blame Laporta. And I don't think Messi should blame Laporta either. But nonetheless, as you know, till this day, Messi is very upset at Laporta. He doesn't even want to see him in pictures. And they're throwing him a little bit of shade. The second part of this statement that has also, of course, jumped out in this one a lot more than the first one is where he says that I hope that one day I can return, and not just to say goodbye as a player. So he wants to come back, but not just for a goodbye match or a goodbye ceremony where he could just say bye to the Barcelona fans, something that he wasn't able to do. But he says he wants to come back, besides that. And this, of course, has now started this huge rumor mill. Barcelona are going to sign Messi. Barcelona's going to come on loan. Messi's going to go on loan to Barcelona, blah, blah, blah. You're reading too much into it. What Messi's trying to say here is that he still wants to be linked with his boyhood club, with the club that he loves, that he's told us he loves time and time again, with his home, pretty much. Does that mean Barcelona going to sign Messi? No. It doesn't mean that Barcelona going to sign Messi. But this, of course, hasn't stopped all the people always looking for clickbaits and likes and comments and subscriptions to try to say, oh, this means that Barcelona going to sign him. Look, Messi has made it clear time and time again that as long as John Laporta is the president of Barcelona, he doesn't want to know anything to do with the club. Not because he has something against Barcelona. He loves Barcelona. It's his home. It will always be his home, as you can see him visiting the Camp Nou. But as long as Laporta is the president, he just doesn't want anything to do with Laporta. And that includes being signed. You cannot be signed to a club without, having to deal with the president of that club. So no, Barcelona not going to sign him. Would I love to see Messi do one last dance with Barca? Sure. My emotional side would want to see it. Would it be the right thing or the rational thing? Absolutely not. Right? Messi's 38 years old. He's been in MLS, 2-3 seasons now. If he comes back to Barcelona, it's not going to be pretty. Trust me. His level now is, besides his age, the fact that he's been playing at a much lower level, because let's be honest, the MLS is shit, that means his level also drops. You could be the best in the history, which Messi is, but even the best in history, when you play at a much lower level, your performance is going to drop, right? It's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym and you stop carrying heavy weights, you stop pushing your body past its limits, you just start doing super light weights, 5-pound dumbbells, are your muscles going to grow? No. And not only are they not going to grow, they're actually going to start shrinking. Your body's going to start reabsorbing those muscles because it's going to think, I don't need this muscle anymore. This guy's lifting 5-pound dumbbells. It's the same thing. So would I love to see Messi in a Barca shirt? Sure. Emotionally speaking, yes. Rationally speaking, no. Because all it's going to do is going to tarnish his image, right? Because people are not gonna remember that, the last Messi, the last dance Messi, 38 years old, probably struggling to run after the ball because his level has decreased a lot from playing in the MLS and, from being 38 years old. So no, Messi's not signing for Barca, even though his statement says he would like to return, not just for a goodbye. I think this is just him saying that he wants to forever continue to be linked with Barcelona, whether it be as a board member, as a representative, as an ambassador, sporting director. We don't know. But of course, he wants to be linked with Barcelona. He's always said he wants to move back to the city of Barcelona eventually. And of course, why wouldn't he want to be linked with the love of his life, FC Barcelona? Now, let's go on to more news because we now have details about how this whole thing happened. Because guess what? The club had no idea that Messi was going to the Camp Nou. This was not a planned trip whatsoever. This is not the club scheduling a visit for Messi. None of that. Now, what happened is Messi is set to join the Argentine national team since it is the FIFA international break on Monday, which is today, in Alicante. So, Messi flew one day early, so yesterday, Sunday, from Miami to Barcelona in a private jet with De Paul. As you know, De Paul is now his teammate in Inter Miami. They flew one day early so they can kind of like take a day off in Barcelona, in the city of Barcelona. They can hang out, have some fun, and then join the Argentine team or the Argentine training camp. So Lionel Messi landed in Barcelona. I think it's at 2:30 p.m. today, local time, with De Paul. They hung out around the city. He went to have dinner. He was staying at a hotel. He has a house in Barcelona, but I imagine he wanted to stay in the city because usually most players live in Castelldefels, which is outside the city. So he was staying at a hotel close to the Camp Nou. So on his way back from the dinner, he told his driver to pass by the Camp Nou because he wanted to see it. So he passed by. He was looking at it. He was like, wow, admiring what was going on. And then he tells someone in his group, do you think you can get me in there? So this someone, we don't know who it is, picks up the phone and calls Limac and says, hey, Limac, I got Messi right here. And he wants to know if he can check out the Camp Nou from the inside. Can you imagine the guy at Limac that answered? If that was me, I would have been like, oh, yeah, okay, bro. Click and hang up, How am I going to believe someone that they have Messi with them and they want to enter the stadium? So anyways, that person calls Limac, says, hey, Messi wants to check out the stadium. Is that possible? Limac, whoever's that Limac, hangs up the phone, calls the club, calls the board, Laporta, whomever. He's like, yo, Messi's outside the stadium. He wants to go in. What do we do? And of course, Barcelona said, the club, the Camp Nou will always be his home. Of course, he can enter. And then, of course, the security or whoever was at the Camp Nou, they turned on the lights, opened the doors, and allowed him to enter the stadium so he can check out the construction project. So, pretty cool story. And also, by the way, highlights the point that, again, Messi doesn't want anything to do with Laporta or this board. Because he could have, if he did, he could have easily just picked up the phone. Hey, Laporta, I'm going to be in Spain on Sunday. Can we, is it cool if I go to Camp Nou? But sure, let's organize it, blah, blah, blah. We'll send you a car. We'll pick you up. We'll welcome you at the Camp Nou. We'll give you a tour of the stadium. But no, he didn't even call them. He had whoever was with him, call Limac. And Limac had to contact the board. So, no, Messi's not coming back because Again, he wants nothing to do with John Laporta or this board. He doesn't even want to see a picture of them. All right, but pretty cool to see, of course, Messi at the Camp Nou. I thought it was amazing, but I don't know. I'm sure you guys share that feeling. Let me know in the chat section what you guys thought about this visit. All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? Messi says, remember when you said Frankie should be sold because we have Bernal and Casado? I do. And yes, he should be sold because we have Bernal and Casado. Unless, and again, this goes to how fickle Barcelona fans are, because Barcelona fans are not only fickle when it comes to accusing players of being shit, they're also fickle when it comes to praising players, right? They're fickle both ways. A player has 10 bad matches and then the 11th one is good. The best ever, Messi. Messi reincarnated. And then the opposite happens. You have a player who has 10 great matches and one bad one. The worst ever, sell him. So yes, I do remember my statements. And yes, I stand by it because guess what? Frankie had a great second half. That doesn't justify 6 years of inconsistent behavior. 6 fucking years. Now, if you think that a 1/2 justifies 6 years of inconsistent behavior, that's your prerogative. But I'm sorry, my standards are much higher. And I'm not just going to forget what a player does just because they had one good half. Oh, Ferran Torres just scored a goal. That's it. We should renew him until he's 40, right? That's the same logic that you're operating by. So, let's see. Richard says, Mo, don't act like you haven't also been wrong about a player like the way you were called Frankie to be sold. Again, I already made this point. I still call for Frankie to be sold. Edward says, wow, I was surprised Iago Aspas, I swear, can make himself invisible and drift into space, make himself visible and score a goal. I would have been happy before the game to leave Salta with a draw. Aspas is also really good at crying. I don't know if you've seen that guy. Every time someone touches him, he just like disappears. Like, he goes to the ground and it's like, a guy acts like someone took an axe to his leg. But yeah, he's a crybaby. And Shane with the donation again says, fast forward, Messi becomes sporting director and boom, we signed Thiago. Well, it's Thiago because he's not Brazilian. Wouldn't that be some shite? That'd be cool. But life is cruel. And if there's something I've learned is that the sons of legends always disappoint. Like, I've never seen, or maybe there is, I don't know, but I'm sure there's an exception here and there. But usually, like the son of Ronaldinho, for example, or Maradona, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, honestly, I do know what it is. It's the fact is being but of course, for all we know, Thiago can become Messi 2.0, but I'm saying usually they end up disappointing us. But I think they end up disappointing us not because they're disappointing, but because we put our hopes up on someone. And the chance of anyone, not just someone, of anyone being, a star, super athlete is so tiny. It's 0.0000001%, right? So it's like, and because, unfortunately, or fortunately for those that happen to them, becoming a star, top world athlete, half of it is luck. It's like, for example, Messi. He's the greatest ever. Half of that was luck. It was the fact that he was born with that skill and talent that could take him to the top, right? Why not someone else? Why do they have to be Messi, right? It's just luck. Half of it is luck. Obviously, that's not all it takes to be a top class athlete, right? The other half is hard work and sacrifice, because as we've seen time and time again, just because you're skilled and talented doesn't mean, let's say, you're going to make it. Joao Felix, for example, you still need to put in the work and the sacrifice and everything that comes along with it, right? So they come hand in hand, right? You need hard work and sacrifice, but you also need the luck. For example, if I were to quit my job right now and close the channel and hire Messi's coaches and trainers and nutritionists and physios and dietitians and I'll just train like him all day, every day, right? I wake up, train, go to sleep and eat the same as him, drink the same, hydrate the same as him, train, do everything the same as him every single day for the next 5 years, I'm not going to become Messi because I don't have the skills or talent to become Messi, even though I'm working as hard as him, because you need both. You need both. So I think that's why a lot of times we assume that because someone's father is a legend or mother is a legend that they're going to be too. But honestly, there's nothing guaranteeing that because it really is just half of it is luck. And, it's not hereditary. It's not genetic. I don't know what it is. But Shane with another donation. Said, hell, Thiago could be a water boy and I'll just be happy to have Messi back on the team. Seriously, just joking. Or am I? I mean, look, if that happens, that'd be so cool. Can you imagine? Like, it would be a dynasty, right? Messi spent how many years? 15, 16 years at Barca. And then, Thiago grows up to be, he doesn't even have to be as good as his father, right? Just Barca level. Let's put it that way, right? And then, Thiago comes and spends another 15 years at Barca. Can you imagine that? I mean, you'd be talking about a dynasty. It would be really cool. But obviously the chances of that happening are tiny. Obviously, there are better chances that happens than other people becoming professional stars because, when you're the son of a legend, the door's open to you, right? You have the money, you have the access, you have the network to be able to train since you're a little kid, and that obviously plays its role. But yeah, no, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. All right, let's see. McBarca says there are rumors Piqué contributed to Messi's departure. Are they true? Not that I'm aware. I think the only reason for Messi's not being renewed is simple. We were in the hole. I mean, we were in a terrible, terrible financial situation. And the only person responsible for that is Josep Maria Bartomeu and his board. It's not Laporta's fault. I don't think it's Piqué's fault. I think the whole beef between Messi and Piqué, if I'm not mistaken, is because Piqué kind of was like saying, wasn't in favor of Messi leaving since the club wasn't in a financial situation. And Messi took that kind of like as betrayal. But I don't see it as betrayal. I think that was Piqué thinking about the club, putting the club before anyone else, which is what every Barca player, fan, president, board member should do, right? I would have loved for Messi to stay, but if that meant Barcelona ceasing to exist because we would have gone bankrupt, then obviously not, I want the club to survive over keeping Messi, and I think that's what Piqué had in mind. That's what Laporta had in mind. I mean, of course, Messi, being Piqué's friend, he would feel betrayed because that would be a pretty shitty feeling to find out your friend is advocating for you not to continue, but your friend was just putting the club ahead of you, which that's what he was supposed to do. But anyways, Barca Reloaded said Simeone's son is doing it at Atletico. Yeah, but is he as good as his dad? I don't think so. I think Simeone was a much better player than El Cholo, of course, as his son. And Fusing says, hey Mo, it's 5:15 a.m. in the UAE, driving towards work and enjoying the good news from my best YouTuber in the world and the best club in the world, as well as the break. We will be on fire. Bizka Barça. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Drive safe, my friend. Drive safe. But 5:15, what do you do if you don't mind sharing with us? That's kind of early. But yes, Bizka Barça, and hopefully we'll be back on fire after the break. And with that, let's get back to the news, because we have news that Barcelona have contacted the agent of one of the most exciting attacking talents currently in the league, who is no other than this guy on your screen. His name is Malik Fofana. Now, Malik Fofana is a 20-year-old Belgium attacker. He more specifically is a left winger. He currently plays for Olympique de Lyon, and he is considered one of the most exciting attacking talents in the Ligue 1. And he also has become one of favorites amongst Barcelona scouts. Now, Barcelona have been tracking Malik Fofana for quite some time, And the Barcelona scouts have been producing lots of positive reports about this youngster. In those reports, and those reports highlight his speed, his dribbling ability, and his tactical awareness. And these reports have been so positive that has prompted Barcelona to reach out to Malik Fofana's agent in order to discuss the feasibility of signing him next summer, right? Because step one, you analyze the market, figure out, step one, you analyze your team. What do we need? What kind of player, what kind of position, and what kind of profile? Step number two, you research the market. What's out there? What could be a good option? Once you've identified the targets, step three, you track them. You send scouts, you watch them, you look at their numbers, they look how they perform over a season, maybe two. Now, if the player, someone you like, you're like, all right, I've watched them long enough, I think he'll be a good fit. You move on to step four, which is contacting the agent and saying, hey, what's going on with your guy? How much would he cost? Would he be willing to leave? Would he be willing to join us? What would be his salary demands? What would be his club's demands, etc.? Barcelona are at this step five, where you contact the agent to figure out what is the feasibility of signing him in the summer transfer market. Now, Malik Fofana has become a regular among in Olympique de Lyon. So far, he has had 12 appearances with the senior team, during which he has scored 2 goals and provided 1 assist. Now, what's the positive thing for Barcelona? Is that Olympique de Lyon are currently going through some financial struggles. And that, of course, is always a plus, because then the club is more likely to be able to sell players and also negotiate. As terrible as it sounds, but you can take advantage of club's financial situation as they take advantage of our financial situation all the time. The negative, of course, that there's other clubs also interested in him, mostly in the Premier League. And of course, the Premier League, they have all the money, so they can always flex their financial muscle, something that Barcelona cannot do. But that's the news. Barcelona have contacted the agent of Malik Fofana to see if they can sign him in the summer. We'll, of course, keep track of this situation, and we'll see if this is a signing that will be possible for Barcelona and whether Barcelona go all out for him. All right, let's get back to the comment section, and then the last bit of news, we'll talk about Etta Eyong, another player Barcelona would like to sign during this summer. And N60 says, what is his position? Malik Fofana is a left winger. He's right-footed, but he's more comfortable in the left wing. And Noor Hassan says, Mo, I don't blame Laporta, but Messi's justified in having a beef with Laporta. Laporta hid things, and the transfer saga went on till last minute of the transfer window, hence Messi had to join. See, that's the thing. I don't think Laporta hid anything. Remember, when Laporta takes over the club, he hires that auditing firm to try to figure out what's going on. That takes months. Auditing a club as big as Barca and auditing any company that makes any multi-billion dollar company is going to be months and months. I mean, they have to go through everything. When you do an audit, it's not just like, oh, how much money did you make? Okay, $100. How much money did you spend? 90. Okay, plus 10. Cool, bye. No. You have to go through everything. Every single spending. And you know how much money and how many transactions a club as big as Barcelona goes through? I mean, we're not just talking about signing players and paying players' salaries. We're talking about everything. Every invoice. Oh, Laporta went to a meeting. How much did the gas cost for that car that took him? Who took him? How much did those people get paid to take him? Oh, he had dinner with someone. How much did that dinner cost? Oh, they had drinks too. Okay, what are the drinks? Oh, he had to stay at a hotel. Okay, what was the cost of that hotel room? Oh, toilet paper for the locker room. Towels, detergent. I mean, you're not just talking about big spend, like every fucking invoice. And those audits are not just for 1 year, they're for multiple years. I can't remember how long this audit was for, if it was 5 years or 10 years, but that takes months to complete, because they have to go through everything, every spending. Even if Laporta went and bought gum with the club's credit card, that gum purchase has to be accounted in the audit. So that takes months. And when the report came out and we found out, oh shit, That's when Laporta's like, sorry, Messi, there's nothing I can do. My hands are tied. So I don't blame Laporta, honestly. I don't blame Laporta. And honestly, I don't understand why Messi's mad at him. I mean, what was Laporta supposed to do? Risk the club and sign him and risk that the club ceases to exist so we can keep one player? No, you don't do that. You put the club first. Let's see. Rabzo says, greetings from San Francisco, Mo. Hello, my friend. Thank you for joining. Rabzo also says it would be nice if Messi could be a guest player for the Joan Gamper Trophy for a goodbye game. Yeah, that would be cool. Next summer, I'm sure we'll be at the Camp Nou by then, obviously, hopefully. And yeah, by then, hopefully he can play there. And Eddie says, what player do you see being sold for most profit? Ter Stegen? No, don't expect much money for Ter Stegen. I mean, if we get 10 mil, maybe 15 for Ter Stegen, would be lucky. But no, I don't see Ter Stegen generating that much money. He's going to be 34. He just missed. He will have missed the entire first half of this season due to injury. He missed all of last season due to injury. No, his stock is like super devaluated between the injuries and the age. And I'm sure he's not going to play much unless, of course, he leaves on loan. And then maybe there he can raise his portfolio a little bit. If he leaves on loan this winter to a club where he does start and plays every single match, maybe then he can increase his stock. But no, I just don't see Ter Stegen generating that much money. As far as who it can generate money, honestly, I don't know. I don't see anyone. Because Lowy will be leaving for free. Ter Stegen, I don't see him generating much. Iñaki, he will be coming back from loan. Hopefully his stock will be up, but I don't see him generate much either. Maybe also 10 mil, or maybe 12 or 15 if. Who else? Ansu Fati looked like we could maybe get some money for him, but now he's not playing again. Honestly, I don't see anyone. Unless somehow Araujo decides to leave, and then Barcelona could cash in on him, but Araujo's not going anywhere. Deco wants him to stay, and Araujo's happy staying. I don't see him leaving. Same with Frankie. And yeah, I just can't think of anyone that would generate a lot of money. Nathan says Ferran. Ferran is not leaving. Okay. Even when we wanted to push him out, he didn't want to leave. Now he's definitely not leaving, where he's like, I'm the shark and blah, blah, blah. And even if he does, maybe he would be the most that would generate, but it's not going to be anything crazy. I foresee Barcelona maybe selling him for 2025. But I mean, remember under Xavi, Ferran was like just terrible. He wasn't playing minutes. Whenever he did play, he was just awful. And even then, when people were like, leave, he wouldn't leave. He's definitely not leaving now, where he's more important under Flake. So I don't see that. Richard says, Mo, is it true that Pedri will be back after the international break? Hopefully. We'll see. It's a little bit too early to tell. We'll see. And Shane with a donation. Thank you so much, my friend. Says if we sell Mark Ter Stegen to Chelsea, they'll buy the farm for him. Yeah. Except you always think that. Even with the Saudis are paying like ridiculous amounts. But then we're like, oh, here's Inigo free. So I feel like it doesn't matter who it is, how much money they have, whether they do or they don't, or whether they overpay or underpay. I feel like we always undersell, period. So I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. But hopefully. We need the money. So if we can get good money for Ter Stegen, I'm all for it. But I have a feeling that we won't. Between the injuries and, he's missed a year and a half. So, all right, let's do the last bit of news, and then we'll do more comments. But this is the last bit of news. It's in regards to Etta Eyong, the 22-year-old Cameroonian center forward, currently plowing his trade at Levante, and one of the top names on Barcelona's list to replace Robert Lewandowski. Not that you could ever replace Robert Lewandowski unless you sign someone like Haaland or Julian or maybe Kane, but Lewandowski is pretty much irreplaceable. But Etta Eyong, given his age of 22, given his potential, and given the price where Barcelona think can sign him for 15 to 20 million euros, this is someone that is on the top of the list for Barcelona. Do I think we should be signing 22-year-olds who currently at Levante? No. I think the number 9 is such an important position, such a key position that a club like Barca or Madrid or all the big clubs should only have 9s that are, top class, like the Haalands of the world. But unfortunately, the Haalands of the world will cost a lot of money, and that's not something we can afford. As such, Etta Eyong is one of the main candidates currently on Barcelona's list. Now, what's the news? The news is, of course, that Levante just recently rejected a 30 million euro offer from CSKA Moscow. I think it's called CSKA Moscow, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I'm just going to stick with the initial CSKA Moscow, who are the second team currently in the Russian league. And the Levante have rejected a 30 million euro offer because, of course, as their CEO said a few days ago, which I reviewed with you the statements, he said, we're not looking to sell Etta in the winter because, of course, Levante's goal right now is to stay in first division. And in order to do that, of course, they have to keep someone like Etta Eyong. Even if it's 30 million, it doesn't make sense to sell him. And then you end up getting relegated and you end up losing a lot more because obviously you barely make any money when you're in second division. So, Levante rejecting this offer, which kind of makes me a little bit worried because, okay, yes, they are rejecting it because they're not looking to sell in the winter, but they know that they will have to sell them in the summer. But does that mean that when Barcelona come knocking, Levante are going to say, sorry, pay the full release clause, which is 30 mil, right? Because Barcelona right now are willing to pay between 15 and 20 million for Etta Eyong. That's what they believe they can negotiate it down to 15 and 20. But if Levante are already saying no to 30 million euro offers, that kind of worries me a little bit because that could put Barcelona out of the race. Now, there are other clubs, of course, interested in Etta Eyong, as always. As Real Madrid, they're Manchester United, Manchester City, and Arsenal, all tracking the Cameroonian center forward. And this, of course, also presents a problem for Barcelona because, well, all these are heavy spenders, and Barcelona cannot compete with heavy spenders. Now, what's the plus? The plus is that Etta Eyong prefers to come to Barcelona, so hopefully that can play a role. Maybe if he just says, I want Barca and Barca only, Levante would be forced to negotiate. We'll see. We still got a long time until the summer, but we'll see what happens with Etta, and of course, we'll keep tracking him. Let me know if you want me to do a reaction video to Etta Eyong since he is on the top of the list for Barcelona. Now, let's get back to the comment section. As Eddie says, if Christensen leaves, we should sign Schlotterbeck as replacement. He's definitely on the list. There will be a center-back signing this summer because, of course, not only did Inyo leave, but Christensen is set to leave as well. So that's 2 less center-backs. So, of course, Barcelona going to have to sign someone. Schlotterbeck is on the list. Another one is Ignacio Gonzalo out of Sporting CP. And, of course, there's Marc Guehi, who even though is not really left-footed center-back, which is what Barca are looking for. Of course, he would be a free agent. So, I think free trumps left-footed, right? So we'll see. We'll see, but I have a feeling Marc Guehi is going to end up, joining Liverpool because they had reached an agreement. Liverpool were about to take him away, and then Crystal Palace said no, and they pulled the plug last minute. I'm sure they're regretting that because Liverpool were going to pay, I think, 30 or 40 mil, and now they're not going to get anything because Marc Guehi will leave for free. So those are all on the list: Schlotterbeck, Ignacio, and Marc Guehi. Carlos says, do you think if we don't sign any of Flick's suggestions next year, he will leave after his 3rd year? I think at least we have to give him one. I don't think he's going to leave because we won't give him his signings. I think since day one, he always said, I know the situation. I know you guys can't sign. I know you don't have money. You don't have financial fair play. So whatever you bring me, you bring me. And he's done with what he's been given. So I don't think that would be the reason for him to leave. If he leaves, is because he said from day one that he's not here to be, a long-term coach, right? He's 60 years old, and eventually he wants to retire, spend time with his family. So if he leaves, it's gonna be because of that, not because we didn't bring him a signing or two. And yeah, Jiv says, I love Laporta as a president, but difficult to believe on what he says until he returned. I can't believe on him. Well, you don't have to believe him. You know, you can access the report, the auditing report, right? I'm not here to tell you that that's what Laporta said and that's why I'm believing him. That's what actually happened, right? Laporta becomes president, hires the firm, Price Waterhouse Cooper. They do the audit. The audit result doesn't come out till summer. And that's when we realize how much worse things are. So this is not like, oh, I'm telling you, Laporta told me this. And no, Laporta didn't tell me shit. That's just what happened. Edward says, 139 watching and 21 likes. Come on, people. Your comp will not explode. Your computer will not explode if you hit the like. Thank you, my friend. Yes, please hit the like button. It's actually the most important thing you can do for the channel. More important than subscribing. More important than commenting. Because the like tells the YouTube algorithm, hey, there's people enjoying this shit. Let's recommend it for 2 more people. And that's what the algorithm does. You know, whenever you open your YouTube and there's like recommended videos or suggested videos, that's how those videos pop on your screen. Because there's other people hitting like, and the YouTube algorithm was like, huh, I guess people really like this video. Let me recommend it to people who haven't seen it. So very important. Hit the like, completely free. It takes a second, but you will be massively, massively helping me out. And Art B says it's a surprise that Chelsea isn't looking for Etta Eyong. Yeah, for real. I'm sure eventually they'll find out that there's a guy named Etta Eyong. Like, oh shit, sign him. Fuck it. We have 20 center forwards, but 21 doesn't hurt. And Carlos says that we know how Iñaki's doing. Even Pau Victor and the left back we loaned forgot his name. Iñaki's doing, I mean, as good as you could do at a team like Elche, but you know, Iñaki's a good goalkeeper. Does he have enough to be the starter at Barca? I don't think so. But I think he could be a good option number 2. Pau Victor, that I don't know. I don't know anything about the Portuguese league. And the left back we loaned. Who's the left back we loaned? I'm trying to think. Are we talking? No, both were right backs. There's of course, you know, Hector Fort, who's also at Elche, but he's a right back. And then there is, what was that guy's name? Baye. Alex Baye. Him we sold to Cuomo. But Hector Fort hasn't been a regular at Elche, but he is slowly getting more and more minutes. So hopefully, you know, he'll find his stride. But so far, me. West Spring says, hey, Mo, what's up with the roof of the stadium? Wasn't it supposed to be able to close and open? I'm seeing some of the photos, what it's supposed to look like, and it doesn't have it. No. The roof was never supposed to open and close. It's just a regular, you know, it's just a roof and with a hole in the middle. No, it was never supposed to be a retractable roof. That wasn't ever in the plans. And Eddie says, Jurgen Klopp, if things go horribly wrong with Flick, but let's hope not. Jurgen Klopp. Klopp is currently, I don't see Klopp coaching for a while. And that is because he is currently the head of Red Bull football division, whatever the hell that thing's called. You know, Red Bull, they own a lot of teams. Their specialty is growing talent, you know, finding little talents that are very young as kids, recruit them, develop them, and sell. That's the business that they're in. And Jurgen Klopp is kind of in charge of that. I'll tell you what the division is called. Jurgen Klopp. His official position. So I don't see him, you know, coaching for a while because I think he's happy in his current role. But he is he's the head of global soccer for Red Bull GmbH. That's his official position. So I don't see him going back to coaching anytime soon. I'm sure in the future maybe, but right now he's at Red Bull. He's running their whole football division. That's a sweet gig, my friend. That's a sweet gig. Plus, I'm sure he gets free Rebels, right? Who doesn't want, who wants to say no to free Rebels? Shin Master with yet another donation. My friend, calm down. Your wife is gonna kill you. Thank you, my friend, for your generosity. Bashin says in other news, it's currently 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right? Central Time. And Madrid still suck. Also, you pass over my member milestone post, but no biggie. Wow, there's a hold on. I'm gonna have to scroll up. Scroll. Oh wait, we can scroll with music. Hey, let's go. I don't see it. Oh, I see it. There we go. Oh, wait. This whole time, the channel was on mute. So you didn't hear the music. Fail. All right. Enough of that music. She's celebrating 18 months. Are you kidding me? 18 months? Holy shit. 18 months of membership. And says, is Alex Fofana the brother of Wesley Fofana? I seriously have no clue. Regardless, 18 months milestone. 18 months. Has it been that long since I've had memberships on this channel? I feel like I started the whole membership thing like a week ago. Damn. 18 months. But yes, 18 months, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting the channel for as long as you've been supporting the channel. 18 months is absolutely huge. Thank you, my friend. A million times thank you. Your support has been out of this world for this channel. And to answer your question, I just looked up Malik Fofana. I don't know if they are related. I don't see anything. Doesn't mean that he's not, but I think it would have mentioned it. I'm looking at his profile. It doesn't say anything about whether he's related to Wesley Fofana. Let me see. Maybe he says it on Wesley Fofana's profile. Wesley Fofana. No, wait, but I think it's a no period because Wesley Fofana is French and Malik Fofana is from Belgium. Oh, and Wesley Fofana's parents are Ivorian, so they are from Côte d'Ivoire. Versus Malik Fofana, his parents are from, let me see, they are from, okay, his parents, one is Guinean and the other one is French and Filipino. So definitely no. Because he's Belgium, parents are Guinean and French and Filipino, and the other guy is just French. And parents are from Côte d'Ivoire. So I guess that's the answer. But apparently Fofana is a common name in the French language because there's a lot of Fofanas out there. I didn't know. Anyways. Oh, we have another donation. Baby Scumbag says his thoughts on QRC. People said he is on a decline. I don't think so. People think everybody's on a decline. You know, it's like we lose a match and you just got to fire the whole team. No, I don't think he's on a decline. I think given how badly the team have been pressing and given how badly the team have been playing as a team, obviously it's been a lot easier to cause us damage. And when that happens, the ones who get signaled for it are always the defenders. And sometimes rightfully so, but sometimes not. You know, for example, let's say Lamine loses the ball outside the box, which has happened, and it turns into counterattack and they score. Lamine is not going to be signaled for that because people's memories are extremely short and they're just going to remember the goal, not how the whole sequence started. So who's going to get blamed? The defense. right? The defense always takes the brunt of it. The same way how when a team is doing great and they're scoring goals, the defense never gets the credit. The attackers do. And it's just like, the defense, unfortunately, are the unsung heroes of football. When things are bad, they take all the blame. When things are great, no one even remembers they exist. That's why you never see a defender win a Ballon d'Or. So no, I don't think he's on a decline. It's just, much easier to signal out defender than to actually figure out what the hell's going on. Sanjok says, hey Mo, ChatGPT and Google says that there will be a completely retractable roof with solar panels. I'm so confused. Also, will Pedri be fit? No, there's no retractable roof for the Camp Nou. Let me show you the images directly from the club. What is it called? Espai Barça. Espai Barça. All right, here we go. We have the website here. Let me see. Latest. That day, blah, 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 blah. Let me see if I can find the pictures. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Oh, this is not how you spell Espai. There we go. So here are the official images from the club's website of what the stadium is going to look like. Okay. This is, by the way, do not listen to ChatGPT. ChatGPT should not be the source of your information. ChatGPT can do things for you, maybe summarize things, maybe rewrite something for you, but that should not be your search engine. ChatGPT should never be like, hey, what is the answer to this? That should never be the case. But this is what the roof will look like. As you can see, it's not retractable. It's kind of like the Wanda Metropolitano. Well, it's not called the Wanda Metropolitano anymore. What is it called? The Stadium de Madrid? Who cares? They're an irrelevant club. But it's kind of like that. I think Athletic Club de Bilbao Stadium also has the same roof. That's like the roof, and then here's an opening. This is going to be you can pay and you can go up there, and it's kind of like an observation deck. So you can see into the stadium. But no, it's not supposed to be retractable. It was never supposed to be retractable. ChatGPT is just making shit up at this point. See, it's going to look like this. That's the inside of the stadium. Blah, blah. It's going to look beautiful, man. But yeah, no. It's... By the way, the Espai Barça is not just the Camp Nou. They're also, of course, doing the whole campus around the Camp Nou. It's also going to be the Palau Blaugrana right here. You see this? This is the Palau Blaugrana. Right now, that shit looks horrible. They haven't started working on it. But this is where we play the basketball matches, the hockey. They play hockey on skates. I don't know what that sport's called. It's a pretty stupid sport. Handball. And all those sports are played in here. Palau Blaugrana, which of course means Blaugrana Palace. So the Espai Barça project is not just the Camp Nou. It's the Camp Nou. It's all the surroundings of the Camp Nou, like the campus. It's the Palau Blaugrana. That's going to be, I think, the last thing that they're going to do because right now they haven't even started on it. And then the Estadio Johan Cruyff, which they already did. Estadio Johan Cruyff is fully done. Beautiful stadium, by the way. I was there. Really beautiful stadium. I mean, you guys saw it. Obviously, it's tiny, but it's a very beautiful stadium. But the Estadio Johan Cruyff is done. Right now, they're working on the campus and the Camp Nou. And then the last step is going to be the Palau Blaugrana. But no. It was never supposed to have a retractable roof. Again, this is just ChatGPT making shit up. All right, let's see. Triple X says, Bo, even though we don't have a natural right back, it felt great to see tactical link-up play and free-flowing football on the right flank instead of scrappy link-up and misplaced passes from Koundé. Yeah, absolutely, man. And that wasn't even the best match of Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia has had much better matches as a right back, but he still was a million times better than Koundé has been. And Frederick says it's called roller hockey. Thank you. I know in Spain, in Spanish it's called hockey patines. I just didn't know what it was called in English because, in the US we have the real hockey, the one on ice. None of that roller bullshit. Let's see. Carlos says, make Shin your CEO of Barça News. You can stop being a lawyer and Shin can pay your salary. Respect Shin. I don't think CEOs pay salaries. I think I would have to pay him a salary for being a CEO. But not a bad idea. And West Spring says, which Madrid goalkeeper said they need to play better without help with their refs? You reported on it because when I searched it up on Google said no goalkeeper said that. Why are they lying? Courtois mentioned the whole Negreira thing. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. I covered that a few days ago. He was asked about Laporta's comments about, Madrid being favored by refs. And Courtois was like, oh, of course they have to say that because, the Negreira case. But, look, Courtois is one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper right now in the world. But let's be honest, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. The guy even looks dumb. But anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, your generous donations. I will be posting another video in a little bit. There's more news, believe it or not. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. I will see you guys in that video. And as always, Pisca Barça.